think is the benefit of having Black women in leadership?
How much time we have?
We are going to get the chance to hear from what I think everyone knows to be servant leaders. And when we hear that term servant leadership, it's the people who start with service to others, and they know that they need to pour into other people, but then they also still have that audacity to want to lead. And that's who's sitting here next to me, flanked on my sides. These women exhibit true servant leadership, and we will learn about their career journeys tonight, their elevation to Bar Association leadership, but also those personal journeys and lessons that they learned along the way in their personal lives and how that has impacted them in their leadership. And here's the thing, these are Black women. And I don't know about you all, but Black women, when Black women lead, things happen. Come on now. When Black women lead, I mean, things get done.
What I would say is that journey from legal services to Debevoise Plimpton, I think is an American story.
And that's one of the most important things, I think, in being successful in leadership. That, like, if you're going to, especially at the national level, surround yourself with people who make you better. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you too.
But so that's what I mean about when you talk about being your authentic self. It can be difficult. It can feel difficult, but I think in the end, it's much more damaging to try and not to try and hide or diminish who you are.
Who a person in your life that has been very impactful on your leadership, your style, how you approach things. What were those qualities about that person, the person that you think of who's had that tremendous impact on you? What are like one or two qualities they had that you feel like you now embody, that you use as a marker for your leadership? Lonita.
I think it's hard for me to pinpoint one person. I think if I had to pinpoint one person, it's gonna be my mom, because she's had the most impact on who I am as a woman.
And what about your mom? What's a quality that stands out to you that's so significant?
She's no nonsense, but yeah, just the no nonsense, and she's always pushed me to handle business. You don't have time to worry about everybody else, you just gotta handle business and do what you need to do. So her, the person that I am is because of her. I lost my father when I was young, and to see her as a strong Black woman take care of me and my brother, and then later my child too, you know, there's just no one like Black women.
It makes a difference, right? Iron sharpens iron, so you gotta, that's why I'm sitting so close to you. And Deborah, what about you?
So I'm going to do the lawyerly thing, and I'm not going to say a person, I'm going to say an institution. And the institution is Salem United Methodist Church on 129th Street and we used to call it 7th Ave, now Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. And it's because there we had women in particular who were mostly domestics back then, that's what they were called, who maybe Monday through Friday were cleaning and were cooks and they didn't even call them nannies now, but on Sunday, they were the fiercest, sharpest dressing women, and they were the ones who said, sit up straight, and here's a piece, we used to call it. You say this for Easter Sunday, and you stand up and you put, those were the people who said to me, and you are gonna grow up and you're gonna go to college and and when I went to law school, they were like, here's $5, here's $10 for your books, and you come back and you help us. And they were the most extraordinary women that even to this day, and I have a crew in the ABA, we call ourselves Black Girl Magic, how original, but they're my crew. And all of us were shaped by women like that. So for me, it's that institution. And now all of my family, my mother was one of 10, all of my aunts and uncles, cousins, we all went to the church. So in a way, it's the whole family. But I would say it was the women of that church who were servant leaders, who, they were on the usher board. They were on the usher board, and they were running meetings, so they taught us how to run meetings. They knew Robert's Rules of Order. All of that I learned right there in Sunday school and youth group and youth leadership. So to me, that's where it all began.
So I want you to think back. You all are ambitious women. Think back to your 25-year-old ambitious self.
That's easier for her because she's closer to 25. So you should ask her first. Okay.
Knowing everything that you know now, what advice would you give 25-year-old Lonita about leadership, about careers?
So it's so crazy. I was on the phone with one of my really good girlfriends. We met in undergraduate. She's not a lawyer, but I was the one in our friend group that when we might be out partying, but I was, because I was going straight through. But she said, when you decided you were going to be a lawyer, she's like, where you are now, is this where you envision yourself being? And I was like, no, it's just not. And so it's horrible. And I became a lawyer, I got sworn in when I was 25. So you say, what advice would I give 25-year-old Lonita? And I would have to say I don't know that I would give her any different advice, because that's how I've ended up where I am. But this is not where I envisioned myself. It's so much more than what I could have imagined. So it's to continue to, let God lead, and you'll end up where you're supposed to be. So I guess maybe let God lead. But that's what I did.
Absolutely. What about you?
So I would say I had a lot of confidence at 25, probably more than I should have had at 25. But I would say keep that, because there have been moments where doubt would creep in. And so I would say hold on to that confidence that you had it, because when you're 25, the whole world is in front of you. And you think about it. I'm 25, I've graduated from college, graduated from law school, sworn in. There was nothing that I didn't think I could do. So I would say hold on to that fierceness. And for the most part, I have. There were moments where I had doubts, but in the end, the 25-year-old Deborah ruled out, and I'm glad she did.
I'm glad 25-year-old Lonita stayed fierce, and I'm glad that 25-year-old Deborah, I'm switching it, but 25-year-old Deborah also stayed fierce, because that's how you all have, been able to influence each other, right?